It's thinking. It thought about going live, and now it's live.
It is
Hello,
live.
good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a fantastic, restful, and awesome weekend.
Greetings.
Doxy Mama was screaming at you to hit the button,
I
Ma.
did. I'm not even
And then
late.
she went boom, and here we are. We are live. You guys know what you should do? You should go to our website after the show, not right this second. But as soon as we are done, you should run, not walk. You should run to our website, chicksontheright.com,
You should.
and then bookmark it. You should bookmark it
Or
and then go there.
favorite it or whatever
Mhm.
they call those
Every
things in your browser.
favorite it. You should be like, this is my favorite. Chicks on the Right are my favorite. You should go there every single day of your lives.
You
Every
should.
day. That should be like your one-stop shop for all things chicks, all things news, all things fun. And then bookmark it. Bookmark
You
it.
should do all of those things for sure, for real. You guys remember last week when we were, well, I mean, it was me that was doing it. I was wondering, I was
It's
pondering.
me. Hi.
I'm the problem.
It's her.
I was just wondering aloud how all of this indictment business and a potential Trump being in jail business would work logistically, right? And as if they heard me speaking, Daily Mail put out a huge article with all kinds of answers about how this will work. If Trump is the nominee, if Trump is if he wins the nomination, if he is going to jail, like how will all of this work? Is it even legal? And so I thought, well, why don't we just go through some of the highlights, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I'm not going to just read this article to you. I'll just give you some bullets. But so they actually put some bullets. Like they have some of the most frequently asked questions about how all this will work. Number one, will Republicans still support him if he's convicted of any of these charges? And so the answer, they said, is probably, but there is doubt creeping in, according to some polls. And
That's what it looks like.
this is what doubt creeping in looks like.
Mm-hmm.
They say, his lead against all the other potential GOP people is like expanding by the day, right? So I don't think anybody can catch him from a primary perspective at this point. I could be wrong, but I don't think anybody is going to catch him. But according to some polling, they're saying nearly half of GOP voters say they won't vote for Trump if he's convicted of a felony. And then 52% won't vote for him if he is in prison on election day. So that sucks.
So people will change their minds if he is in fact
in prison. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the timing of that could get really squirrely because it may be too late for anybody else to be the nominee. Trump may be the nominee. And if he goes to prison and then all of a sudden people are like, okay, well, now I'm not going to vote for him, then we're completely screwed.
We're screwed.
So,
yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
So that was the first bullet. The second question is, can Trump keep running for president if he's convicted? And the answer is yes. So that there's nothing in the Constitution, there's nothing in the law that stops him from continuing his campaign. There's nothing in the Constitution that says a convicted felon can't run. Even if that felon is in prison, he can continue to run. So that
I'm
is a
not
thing.
sure. Yeah, I just don't know how, like, if he's in prison, how does he go to like state dinners and
He doesn't.
meet with officials and like do his daily duties?
He
said
can't.
duty.
He
How does
has
he
to
do
have
all that?
proxies for all of that stuff.
Okay, so somebody, would it be like his vice president or something? Like how?
I don't know.
I'm just curious. It's like, because when you do a job, you got to go out and do the job, and he was really good at doing the job. He was Mr. Get up at 5 a.m. pants and do the job. He was way better at that than Biden has ever been, or a lot of our presidents have ever. He's Mr. Get up and go and sleep 5 hours a night and do the job. So it's just so strange thinking of him being in prison,
right?
Not being able to do the things. So that's why I'm just curious. I'm like, who would do that? Who would do the things?
It is possible, and apparently there is precedent for this, which is what is so extraordinary about this article. So the third question is, can Trump run for president from prison? And the answer is yes, with some unprecedented accommodations. So it said it back in 1920, some dude named Eugene Debs ran as the socialist presidential candidate while in prison in the Atlanta Fed for speaking out against the draft during World War One. And it was his supporters who spoke for him, ran his campaign, and talked to voters. So he just had sort of these spokespeople that did it. And if Trump is convicted, they say that he could most likely end up in a minimum security federal prison where he could still have internet access. So he could write posts on Truth Social. He could email. Probably he would be limited to the amount of time per day that he could do that, but he would still be able to do that. And then if they do have to make unprecedented accommodations for him, and he is president, which is even more wild to think about, like he's the ruler. I mean, he's the leader of the free world. So you're going to have to like break the rule on the 1 hour of email a day thing since he's
Right.
trying to run a whole country.
What
You know
about
what I mean?
what about the pardoning thing? Okay, he could pardon himself,
That
right?
is also asked. It
Right.
says, can he win the presidency from prison? And the answer is yes, but it'll be a lot harder. It says some lawyer who was being interviewed for this article says, I don't have a key for that. You can't have it in a system that's based on this. We would be in uncharted territory. It says, I don't believe he can win a general election running from prison. It's such a stigma, particularly if he's in prison for undermining national security or undermining democracy, but his base may not crack. He says he would have to expand his base, and I don't know how he expands it sitting in prison, which is a fair point. Let's see. Could Trump pardon himself? Potentially, but it is unprecedented. The answer is we don't know. That would have to go to the Supreme Court. Obviously, it would be a case of first impressions. We've never had anything remotely like that. But if a pardon held, it would only be for the federal cases that Jack Smith is overseeing. So the stuff in New York and Georgia would still stand. So
Wow.
he can only pardon himself on the federal level. But the state convictions, he wouldn't be able to pardon himself. So there's so much
Very
crazy,
convoluted, yeah.
very, very convoluted. And then the other question is, could Trump be removed from the ballot? And the answer is possibly. So the 14th Amendment states that office holders who have, quote, engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the US are unable to hold federal office. And so the organization Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington would have to, they have vowed to challenge his candidacy on that count.
They're
So
doing they're
all this
doing
stuff.
what they're doing whatever they can to keep him out of
Yeah,
office, y'all.
absolutely.
They're
And
doing everything. They're covering I mean, listen, they're stupid, but they're not that stupid. So
yeah,
they've done they're trying to cover every base to keep this man away from the White House. I
right.
mean, it's just so calculated.
And
Wow.
then there's the question, would Biden pardon Trump? They say only he can answer that. And so we don't know what the answer is. And then could Trump vote for himself in the 2024 election if he's convicted? And the answer is probably not, because convicted felons don't have the right to vote. So that's even a weirder question, right? But it was so interesting
Jeez.
to just kind of read through all of the questions, because these are things that it's unthinkable that we're even having this conversation,
Yeah.
that our choices are between Trump and Biden, who has every bit as many problems. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts to
But the
me.
difference being is that we haven't, in a calculated manner, gone after Biden in such a way where it's like we are so we're just so hell bent on destroying him and keeping
Yeah.
him out of office. We're allowing, our constitutional republic to do what it does. You know, just we like free will on our side. We're okay with that. They are not okay with that. They're a bunch
Yeah.
of freaking commies. They're going to do whatever it takes to keep this guy out of office. We're watching it happen before our eyes. It's crazy, you
It is
guys.
nuts. Absolutely nuts. And the
Mhm.
the world, I mean, man, after the credit rating got downgraded, the US credit rating got downgraded, everything feels so just insane right now.
Borked.
Everything feels so borked. And so
Right.
now is a really, really a good time to make sure that your finances are protected and shielded against the weirdest borkiness in Borktown, right? And so a really good way to do that is to make sure that you're dealing with a financial manager who is actively managing risk in your portfolio. And so, you know how like a lot of financial planner people are where they'll just like fling you into a portfolio based on your age or your retirement timeline. And
Mhm.
they'll just be like, blammo, they like yeet you into a portfolio just based on factors that aren't really personal. And that's not the way that Bulwark Capital Management works at all. So Zach Abraham, who is our BFF at Bulwark Capital Management, they are way more interested in actively managing risk. And that's looking at how your portfolio will benefit the most day to day. So it's a much more personalized way of managing your risk. And you can find out more about Bulwark Capital at knowyourriskradio.com. You can also call for a free copy of Zach's Common Sense Investing Guide. It's 866-779-RISK. I'm telling you, he is the guy to trust when it comes to actually actively managing the risk in your portfolio. Investment advisory services are offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Anyway, yeah, things are feeling pretty borky is my point.
Do we have another troll in here today? Because I can't deal with the troll this morning.
Do we?
Do we
Hi,
have another troll?
trolls.
Is Benjamin a troll? Is
Who is
Benjamin a
it?
troll? I think it's Benjamin. Am I
Well,
wrong
I
about
don't
that?
want to.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't want to get rid of him if he's not a troll. But if he's a troll, I cannot deal with him this morning. I'm not in the mood. Seriously. Just let me know.
Shelly, thank you so much. Shelly says today is National Purple Heart Recipient Day. Special thanks and gratitude to those amazing heroes and to all who have served our country. God bless America. God bless America indeed. Yeah, it says apparently we have a few trolls.
Okay.
Katari.
Benjamin's not a troll. Hi, Benjamin. You're not a troll. Then I apologize, Benjamin. But let us know who the trolls are. Like, call them
Katari.
out. Okay.
Katari is.
Call them out by name because I can't deal this morning.
So if
Okay.
I see Katari,
right.
I will promptly ban
Thanks.
Katari.
I apologize, Benjamin.
Okay. Anyway, also, besides legalities of how logistics would work if Trump continues on the path of being indicted and prosecuted and jailed and all of that stuff, wanted to mention too that I read an amazing article that I just want everybody to go out and find today about Obama. It is so interesting. Somebody interviewed his ex-girlfriend about like, and because he wrote about his ex-girlfriend in his first book. Which one was that? Was that like Dreams of My Father?
I don't know. They all run together. He's written like 14 autobiographies. The guy is what, like our age? I mean, seriously.
I know.
How much life?
So arrogant.
How much life he is? He's like he's so self-absorbed, this guy. I just remember he was like, I'm 52. I'm gonna write like 14 autobiographies about myself. Cause I mean, everybody wants to know about my life. Like, God, get over yourself, dude. Yeah.
Well, it's fascinating. I will tell you exactly where to find it. It is a website called tabletmag.com. The author of the piece is David Samuels. It's a humongously long article, and it includes an interview with the Obama biographer, who it turns out is saying a whole bunch of stuff that Obama wrote in his autobiography is just blatantly untrue. And even stories that he told about his first girlfriend and why they broke up, it's all a lie. And what's amazing about it is that no one ever went and talked to her. So this guy's the first one after this many years to go and actually find her and say, hey, all that stuff that he wrote about you in his book about the reasons you broke up, is that true? She was like, I cannot believe it's taken you this long to find me.
Oh my
God.
No
one else. And it's not like she was hiding. You know what I mean?
So was she like, I wasn't even his girlfriend?
No, I mean, she was definitely his girlfriend. In fact, he asked her to marry him twice, and she said no. But like, it's just, she completely discounts so much of his story.
Yeah.
And it's just super, super interesting. So
because he's full of crap.
Recommend everybody read it. It's
because
so
he's
good.
full of crap and Democrats lie.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, do they ever, man?
They lie. Yeah, but it is so interesting. Like, none of the stuff was vetted. That's just the
right.
Like, they could just say whatever the hell they want to say and put it in a book.
That was the most fascinating thing to me about the whole thing, is that it just went unchecked for
Can you
this
imagine?
long.
Can you imagine being her?
Oh my God.
I mean, God, be irate about that. But seriously, think about that. Being her, having that in a book and being like, is anybody going to ask me
Right?
if this stuff is true? Oh, God, yeah, the dude
it's
is a
unbelievable.
liar.
Just unbelievable.
Did you
All
see that
right.
stuff? Listen, there was a bunch of stuff too. Totally. I mean, same subject, but also completely inappropriate. There's a bunch of stuff that Dave Rubin put out about him this weekend too.
Really?
Like a bunch of gay rumors about him,
Ah,
about
well,
Obama.
and that is addressed in the article, because apparently he had journals and stuff, or letters to one of these girlfriends, because there's a
Uh-huh.
couple, where he talked about how often he fantasized about having sex with men.
Men. Yeah. Yeah, and I was like, and listen, I wouldn't normally bring that stuff up because I'm like, because there's all sorts of conspiracy theories about him, about Michelle, and I'm always like, okay, whatever, you know. But since reputable people are starting to bring that stuff up, I'm just kind of like, well, that's interesting that
Yeah.
stuff's being brought up. I don't know. It's like, okay, all right. There's just like stuff like that starting to get some legs.
Getting some legs. And now this
Uh-huh.
article certainly helps contribute to that.
It's
So
very interesting.
if you have some significant time, some free time today, I highly recommend it.
Mhm.
It's very interesting reading. Again, it's tabletmag.com, and then just look for the piece by David Samuels
Uh-huh.
in order to find it. Okay, let's get to this ridiculous riot thing that happened in New York City. So I've never heard of this cat who's apparently huge influencer on Twitch. His name is Kai Sanat. Kai Sanat, I think is how you say it.
God bless
I've
you.
never heard of him before this weekend, but he apparently he's followed by millions, and he decided to tell his followers, "Hey, come to New York City Union Square on Saturday, and I'm going to give away a bunch of free stuff, including like computers and PlayStations or all kinds of gadgets." Right? So he decides to rally everybody. He does not do things like, seek out a permit for a huge gathering. He doesn't do any of those things. He's just like, let's meet up at Union Square. He has millions of followers who then, of course, turned out by the thousands. And then that turned into a big fat riot. Here is the story as being told by the local news outlet.
Calls going out on social media. Obviously, young people know it's out there. They got the message. They're showing up at 4 for something free. 5,000 other people show up. The police are sort of almost behind the 8 ball. How difficult is it for the department to keep track of these things and to try to bring some order to the situation and keep it from becoming a free-for-all like we've seen here in Union Square?
Intelligence.
All right.
Let us know when large gatherings are coming. And that's what's important to understand. You have to get out in front of this before it happens. Usually there's sneaker giveaways, whatever the case may be, a new product coming out. Generally speaking, we know what's going on within Manhattan South. This apparently was a little, they got past it, and so now they have to deal with it by bringing resources immediately.
Do you think Kai Cenat, considering his posting on social media and urging of this gathering here so large and not going what appears to be the proper channels, will he be facing charges?
I would doubt the answer. He didn't really create this. It's his ability to bring people together, which is the issue. So it sounds like he's doing this in altruistic fashion, but I don't think there's criminal charges yet. We'll have to take a look further, but it doesn't appear that way to me now.
It's just
Although
a gathering.
It is now. They're looking at charges.
Yeah, I think they're gonna charge him with something. It's just, it's altruistic, you guys. It's just a gathering. It's just a soiree. That's all it is. They're just getting together. You know.
So should he be arrested? Should he be held accountable?
I think we would be held accountable if we had like 1 million people show up to something in New York City, like on the streets, and we held up traffic. Don't you think we'd be held accountable if we didn't plan something like that? I think so. You have to have plans for something like that when like large crowds show up. I mean, not that we would have a gajillion people show. I don't even know who this guy is. I have no
I've never
idea.
heard of him.
This is how completely out of touch with like YouTubers I am. The only person I know of is like Mr. Beast. That's it. But I mean, it's seriously, I think you have to have some sort. This is why you need to plan these things in advance and get, not even permits, but you have to pay for that. you have to pay for an event center and you have to plan and you have to coordinate and do that stuff in advance. So there's not mayhem, which is exactly what happened in this situation. It's called being an adult.
Well, and apparently, according to reports, he was very surprised at the turnout and was
really?
also super surprised that it got all crazy. Like he was not planning for that. And Jonathan Turley actually wrote an article for the New York Post comparing his event to Trump on January 6th. Because if people immediately rush to the conclusion that, yes, he should be held accountable, he should be going to jail for inciting a riot, and they don't say that about Trump, there's a disconnect, right? Or is there? That's what he was trying to make a point, that those two things are similar, and that if one person should be held to account for gathering a whole bunch of people, then so should the other.
I don't know about that. That's
Whatever.
kind of a weird comparison. I mean, he was like giving away computers. You know what I mean? It's like
People love their free stuff.
Yeah, I guess they do. I mean, it's a little bit different. I mean, because how many followers they say this guy had? Like 1 million followers? or something
Yeah,
like that?
maybe even more than that.
I mean, that's the thing. If you offer a bunch of free stuff to 1 million people, you're gonna have people freaking show up. I feel like that's common sense. That's people like free crap and they're gonna show up. And so I just don't understand how he wouldn't have had the foresight to see that or understand that was going to happen, or at least more than like, I don't know, 40 people were going to show up to this thing for free crap. It's New York City. You know what I mean? So I feel like that was a little stupid on his part to not understand that was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, how do you not at least plan for 1,000 people? I mean, if you've got 1 million supporters, you're at least going to get several hundred to 1,000. And you don't know what those people are going to be like. And clearly the people that he's influencing are all rioting weirdos.
In a public space. You can't do that. I mean, that's a place where like people are trying to get to work. They're trying to do things. They're trying to run businesses. There could be, I mean, they may be sick. They could be in an ambulance trying to get to a hospital. You just can't. Idiots. These people are idiots. You just cannot. You've got to plan in advance for that. So this guy is kind of a moron. I can't believe he didn't see that coming.
It was not a pretty sight there in New York City. Okay, so today what we're going to cover is this new prosecutorial request for a protective order against Trump when it comes to what he's allowed to discuss about this whole case, and the newest case, I should say. And so this was a big story over the weekend because Trump put out a lot of all caps tweets or truths or whatever you call them. And I'm just going to call them tweets because it's too hard to keep them separate. One of his tweets said, "If you come after me, I'm coming after you." And so immediately Jack Smith, because he's a triathlete, but he's a
very sensitive,
very
sensitive. You guys,
he was like, "Oh my God, you can't do that!" And I'm going to demand from this judge, who I have absolutely in my pocket, I'm going to demand from that judge that a protective order is put in place so that Trump cannot say things like that, and he cannot divulge things that he might learn in discovery on his social media, because that's going to like completely throw the whole. Yeah, I mean, it's a
poor
thing.
Jack is scared.
He's very, very scared.
So scared.
So it was a big story, and I thought what we'll do is we will get through all of like the MSNBC, CNN talking heads, and they are reporting about it, of course, breathlessly, right? They're very excited about all of this.
Yes.
And then we'll show the other side. But before we do either of those things, I am going to be taking a break, because it's my kid's first day of senior year, you guys. And I always have to take his first day picture.
Is he doing it right now?
I'm going to grab him, and we're going to do this now. And then I will be back.
And I'm going to show you, and I'm showing you guys a tweet that I saw over the weekend.
And so she's going to take care of you, and I will be back in a few minutes. Okay.
Yes, I'm going to show you guys.
And then we'll do all of those things.
I'm showing you guys a tweet. Okay. Have fun. She'll be right back. Okay, you guys. So there's this tweet that went out on August the 5th. It's from Elon Musk, and you probably can't see this, but I'm going to read it to you, okay? It's Elon Musk, and he tweeted, and I can't believe this. I saw this on Facebook. It's him saying, "If you were unfairly treated by your employer due to posting or liking something on this platform on Twitter, we will fund your legal bill. No limit. Please let us know." Okay. So I did not know if this was real or not. So I asked because there was no timestamp when I saw this tweet on Facebook. A friend of mine shared it. And I was like, is there a timestamp on that? Like, what is the deal with this? Because if there's no limit to funding a legal bill for this, I find this just staggering because I don't think Elon Musk understands what he's getting himself into. If he's saying, listen, we'll fund your legal bill if you were unfairly treated by your employer due to posting or liking something on Twitter, which is crazy, right? Because people have been fired, people have been marginalized, people have been squelched for all. I mean, I say people, conservatives have been squelched for all sorts of stuff, just liking. I worked at a company right before we went full time, and I tread lightly because there's stuff I can say and stuff I can't say, and I signed an NDA and all that kind of stuff. But I worked for a company, and I will tell you that when I was director of comms for them, they did not like the fact that I was a chick on the right. So, like, when I did their comms, I did all their socials and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons that I'm full time doing this now, and I'm not a director of comms for a company. I know that there are a lot of people out there that do comms for companies, or they do work for companies, and they cannot they can't say things that are not just political, but they have to toe a certain line for companies. And so it's like, this is kind of crazy. A lot of people have said things on their own Facebook. They've said things in a corporate perspective where they get shut down. And man, if he's saying that he's going to pay legal bills for people, he's opening up a huge can of worms here. So I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever been, it's like I feel like I'm doing one of those legal commercials. If you've ever been hurt by your employer, call Elon Musk because he's going to like fund your legal bills. Like, I don't know how he's going to pay for all this, but he's saying that he's going to pay your legal bills. No limit, no cap, as the kids would say. So I'm just putting that out there. So if you guys have been squelched by your employers due to posting or liking something on Twitter, call Elon because he's.
Did you tell about Noah, about the NASCAR driver?
I didn't.
Well, because I think this is what it might have been stemming from. Because NASCAR driver Noah Gragson, I think is his name, was suspended indefinitely from racing because he liked a George Floyd meme. He just liked it. He basically did the real life version of going, ha, on a meme. And they were like, oh my God, NASCAR. I mean, it was on Twitter.
And that was on Twitter, correct?
I don't even know. I don't know if it was Twitter or Instagram. Yeah. I don't know where he liked it.
Because that's specifically what Elon is saying. You can't, if something happens to you on the X, the Twitter platform, and you're shut down by your employer's like, oh, you can't do that. Like, you can't be seen doing that on Twitter. They will fund your legal bills. This is nuts. I mean, I think it's great, but I'm like, I don't think he understands the ramifications. I don't think he understands what kind of what he's done here, what he's opened up here, because he's literally going to go broke just funding all these legal bills. Because you talk to any conservative that's worked for a company and they've been squelched. They've been squelched in some way or another. I mean, I say but so many, like the large majority of people who have been in some sort of leadership capacity, they've been squelched by their employer in some capacity, if you're a conservative. Because every corporation, I mean, CEOs are babies now. They are babies. They are absolute wusses. They don't stand up for people. And a lot of them are conservative themselves, but they refuse to stand up for their own conservatism. They want to make money, and that's what they're in for. They don't care about conservatism. They don't care about the conservative employees that they have. They would much rather stand and be like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and be woke on this because I want to make sure that I'm bringing in money, and I want to make sure that I can fund my mansion and my nice car. That's all they care about.
A
So
lot of people are talking about how they don't like the whole X thing. I completely agree. I hate it. Every time I go onto the platform and I just see that big black X, it's so off-putting. I just hate it.
it is a little weird. Yeah.
It was so nice to have a little blue bird.
Yeah, and I hate that like on my phone, I always look for the bluebird and it's not there anymore. And I'm like, geez, it's an X now.
Did you
Yeah.
see that somebody had on their icons, they had Skype and then they had Etsy and then they had Twitter all next to each other. And then when he changed it to X, it looked like sex was in their top icons. So they were like, man, now I'm going to have to rearrange my icons.
Or not. I mean, you don't really have to. How was your son? Is it okay? You're not crying.
I'm trying. Like, this is the kind of stuff where my husband's going to be more emotional about today than I am, because like I was already emotional about all the senior pictures. Like
Yeah.
I've sort of gotten that
Which
part
were
out of my
so good.
system.
So
Oh my
good,
gosh.
you guys.
If you're an insider supporter, you saw how handsome he looked in his senior pictures. God, he looks so good. And I told him to swing by and just say hi to everybody on his
Is
way
he going
out.
to?
Yeah,
Is he-
I think he's not going to leave for another 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
But I told him to please stop and just wave.
Okay. All
So
right.
everybody can see him heading off to a big senior year. I just can't believe it, you
Crazy.
guys.
Oh my
He was
God.
just born.
I know. I remember when he was 2. I mean, I remember you guys used to count in French when he was 2.
When he was 2.
I just remember thinking, God, this kid is just so Mox kid, you know?
Oh my gosh. It's
my
just, I
God.
can't believe it's last year. Anyway, I don't
know,
want
I
to get
can't
all
either.
sapped out about
Crazy.
it. Because we still do have a lot more news to get
Mhm.
to. As promised, we're going to get to this whole breaking news about the protective order, but not before I remind you guys to take care of your hearts. And you can do that really, really well with Healthy Cell. They have heart and vascular gel packs now. So in addition to what you're taking, you're probably already doing your multivitamin, bioactive multivitamin, or your vegan essentials from Healthy Cell, which is your daily multivitamin that you need. But if you also want to have extra protection for your heart and vascular system, and heart disease is the #1 killer, by the way. So everyone should be trying to do their best to strengthen their heart. And you can do that with a gel pack that tastes delicious instead of taking these 13 medications separately. This is all the goodness that is in one Healthy Cell gel pack that tastes delicious and ends up absorbing into your system 165% better than these pills that I just showed you. This is not the way to go, you guys. You want the delicious, I want to say is it blackberry is the flavor for the,
I think you're right.
for the heart and oh my God, it's so good. I mean, don't eat more than one. Okay. Don't eat more than one a day. Don't get crazy. Okay. I get why it's possible. So delicious. So anyway, you can get 20% off of your first order at healthycell.com/chicks. Use code chicks. You'll save that 20%. And if you just think, well, I don't know, what if I hate the taste? Just do a 7-day trial pack of it. They're less than $20. Shipping is always free. And you can just try it and see if it's something that you can see yourself taking every day. I guarantee once you taste it, you'll be like, can I have all 7 at once? No, you cannot. That's bad. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. But you're going to want to, because that's how good they taste. healthycell.com/chicks. All right, let's get to all of the talking heads with their breathless excitement over the breaking news of the weekend. Here is your first clip, just kind of breaking down what has happened.
Breaking news right now. We are just working on getting our own copy of this, but this has been posted by Kyle Cheney of Politico. The special counsel's office has filed asking the judge in this indictment for a protective order. Now, this has to do with the discovery, the documentation that the government is caused to provide to the defendant. This happens in every case. They've got to provide evidence, but the special counsel is asking for a protective order because a few hours ago, Donald Trump posted something on Truth Social. He's been posting a lot in the last few days, but this one stood out. It was all caps. It said, "If you go after me, I'm coming after you. If you go after me, I'm coming after you." So what the government has said is that at this point, this becomes dangerous for them. They've got to give over evidence, and this was at 4:16 p.m. If they provide evidence to the defendant and then Donald Trump uses his power, his social media reach, his speeches, his comments to the press, what does go after you mean? Who's he coming after? Witnesses, people who are named? The government has said if the defendant were to begin, I'm quoting now from the document that we are looking to just get, we'll have it in a few minutes, but this is what Kyle Cheney has posted. If the defendant were to begin issuing public posts using details or, for example, grand jury transcripts obtained in discovery here, it could have a harmful chilling effect on witnesses or adversely affect the fair administration of justice in this case. They've written a lot about precedent in these instances. So basically what is happening is the Trump defense team has asked for all the information that they need to move forward with their defense. That is expected. The government has said we need a little time to do this because if we start handing this stuff over willy-nilly, your guy might start using it irresponsibly. Let's go right to
I love how they refer to him as the defendant and other kinds of, like they cannot call him. And I know this bothers Trump too, and it would bother me. They just cannot call him President Trump. They can't call him Trump. They just want to, they just are so disrespectful to him in every single way.
They want to dehumanize him.
They absolutely want to dehumanize him. Yeah, this is what they want to do. And they do it on the regular. They've done it for years. They just are so awful to him.
So what do you make of that tweet of his?
Well, I mean, it was all caps, so I'm terrified. You guys terrified? Because every time I get people type in all caps here in our comments and I shiver. I almost pee myself every time I see somebody type in all caps.
Terrifying.
It's terrifying. The most terrifying.
That's how they're all talking about it as if it is, the most terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically a terrorist for posting it. Here's another reporter also very, very eager to talk about this story.
And we begin with breaking news. Just minutes ago, the judge in the election interference case now ordering Donald Trump's team to respond to the government's motion for a protective order again in the election case, stating their position on the matter by 5 p.m. on Monday. The request for a protective order came after the former president posted on Truth Social, quote, "If you go after me, I'm coming after you." Joining us now, Glenn Kirshner, former federal prosecutor, now MSNBC legal analyst. He was in the D.C. courthouse Thursday for Trump's first appearance. And Glenn, what is the significance of this breaking news?
So, Aaron, I'm not surprised that when the judge received Jack Smith's motion for a protective order and Jack Smith quoted Donald Trump, when Donald Trump posted what can only be described as a threat, I'm not surprised the judge has ordered them to now respond at light speed because, as you say, I was in court on Thursday and I saw when the judge admonished Donald Trump as follows. Mr. Trump, I remind you that it's a crime to influence a juror, threaten a witness, retaliate against anyone, or obstruct the administration of justice. And not 24 hours later, Aaron, Donald Trump seems to have done just that by posting, "If you go after me, I'm coming after you." I look forward to see how they explain this to the judge.
I think Darren said it, but I just find it really funny. He's like, is it all caps insurrection font?
That's so perfect.
Freaking hilarious. It's so it is perfect. It is insurrection font. It is. We should just start calling it that, insurrection font. It's terrorist insurrection, right-wing extremist font is what it is.
Well, this guy was just saying that he can't wait to see how Trump's defense handles this. And here is his defense handling it right here.
And
I personally would love to see that. I'm convinced the Biden administration does not want the American people to see the truth. And they acted on it by filing this protective order, which is an effort to keep important information about this case from the press. I'm shocked, actually, that all the networks haven't lined up and filed pleadings already objecting to this this very broad attempt by the Biden administration to keep information away from the American people during the election season. The American people have a right to know. Of course, Joe Biden doesn't want that to happen.
I feel
this is the thing, like just all the trial itself, all this stuff, and I hope it's all televised. It's going to bring out so much more information that they don't want it. I think that they're opening a can of worms here they don't want opened.
Oh my God. There's so
You
many
know?
worms, so many
All the
cans, and
worms.
so many worms.
Oh my God. And you know what? I'm here for it. I think a lot of us are. I'm here for it. I think a lot of people are not. Listen, the drama sucks. I hate the drama, but I think Trump is just like, bring it the
Oh,
freak
yeah.
on.
He is.
Bring
In
it
fact, I
on,
have a clip of
bitches.
him.
Yeah.
I have a clip of him saying
Yep.
pretty much that.
Mhm.
And that'll come at the tail end of this little montage that I have for you. I know people are very upset at Bill Barr, and Bill Barr is not Trump's friend by any stretch of the
You know what?
imagination.
I'm not happy with him either.
But he is, he is being fair in
Is
this
he?
clip. In this clip that I have of him talking about this case even being brought, and would he have made a similar decision? And so Bill Barr at least would have been thinking of the good of the country instead of just having this vendetta. You know what I mean? That seems so typical right now with Garland and the rest of the DOJ. So I thought that this was a pretty even-handed clip, all things considered, because Bill Barr clearly thinks Trump is awful, and I mean he's made that very, very clear.
Yeah, yes.
But I thought that this was Bill Barr being fair.
I think that there are some considerations here that I would have seriously considered not bringing the case. And, one of them is the divisiveness of the case compared to what will be achieved from it, especially in light of the handling of the Hunter Biden case, which crystallizes this very deep-seated feeling that there's two standards. And here you are being aggressive against President Trump. I'm not saying that it's improper to bring the case, but I'm saying it's an aggressive move versus, I think, very lenient treatment of Hunter Biden. And I think that is very divisive in the country. And I would have taken that into account. And I think, it's a big deal to cross the Rubicon and go after a former president criminally. And it worries me that we could be on a slippery slope of more and more use of the criminal justice process in our political system. And that would have given me pause as well.
Yeah, it seems
and
that
I do think that while this is not interference in the election, I don't agree with that critique. But as a practical matter, it is going to divert attention and distract people from the election. And I'm afraid we're going to spend the next year and a half, as if we're entombed in a set of reruns of the Perry Mason show versus debating the serious issues that confront the country. So those are practical reasons why I think it would have been wise maybe not to proceed with it.
I saw that over the weekend. Okay, I watched that live, and I was like, how is diverting and distracting not interference? How is that?
Yeah, it's interesting that he said it's not interference, but it's going to distract from the whole election.
Right. So it's like, you sound like an idiot. And I used to like him. I had a lot of respect for him. I really did. And then when I heard that, and I'm just like, you sound like a jerk. You sound like an uneducated jerk when you say stuff like that. You're completely contradicting yourself. Just shut up. Seriously. I said that out loud to the TV. Like, when you start saying stuff out loud to the television, that's when you've got to step away from politics for about 10 minutes and just get in the pool.
You guys, look at my giant. Can you
He's got to bend down. Hi, Jackson. Hello. Oh my God.
I can't wait to hear about it. Love you too.
Such a cutie patootie.
Bye.
Such a cute. He's so big. He's so big. Why is he so big? Why do they get big?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. It's not fair. He was just born.
I know. Not okay. But yes, I had to step away from the television because I was just screaming at it, going, seriously? It's a diversion, which means it's interference.
Yeah.
Exactly
I love this clip too that we're about to play from Alan Dershowitz, who, really talks about how banana republic this whole thing has become. But what I love most about it is that he is not a Trump supporter at all. In fact, the reason that he talks about how unfair this is actually because he wants and feels that he deserves a third opportunity to vote against Trump. And I know that sounds weird, but it makes so much sense, and it carries so much more credibility that he is saying this because he wants to vote against Trump. Take a listen.
Justice system now being used as a political tool by the party in power. Yes, it is. We know that President Biden urged his attorney general to indict the man who he knew was going to be the leading opponent against him. That begins to look like Banana Republic land. That's what happens when people in power are afraid of the democratic process. What they do is they seek the indictment and prosecution of the people who are running against them. I have a constitutional right to vote against Donald Trump for the third time. I voted against him twice. I intend to vote against him again. But I want to have that right to vote against him and not have that right taken away from me by prosecutors and by the president who wants to see him imprisoned. That's just not the American way.
Well,
I love that, actually, right?
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, he totally makes a lot of sense lately, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is very even-handed, no matter what you think about him and his whole Epstein connection, whatever. As a constitutional lawyer, he has always been extraordinarily fair.
Yeah,
Always.
he has. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there are some people, like a very select few who still believe in the Constitution, right? And the rule of law. And he's one of them.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely right. Look at what's happening to our country. And it's astounding to me how so many people on the left just are so excited about watching Trump fry. And they cannot see. They can't see past their blinders as to what's actually going on. And we are becoming a banana republic. It's crazy. And they're just like, oh my God, I'm so delighted to watch him. Can you not see? Can't you see what's going on in this country? Because it's destroying our country. It's destroying us.
Well, amazingly, the New York Times allowed an editorial about Trump's lack of guilt, criminal guilt, in this case. So I thought that this was an interesting interview.
Piling on from the legacy media, a New York Times columnist says special counsel Jack Smith's case stands on shaky legal ground. A quote, shocking as it was, Trump's behavior on January 6th did not violate any laws in obvious ways. As for his broader effort to overturn the election result, no federal law specifically bars politicians from attempting to do so.
Wow.
Phil Holloway, former assistant district attorney. Phil, great to see you. So when I read that in the New York Times, I started to think, well, if all of that is the case, why are we even where we are? Like, why don't these charges just get dropped?
Well, great to be with you, Harris. Listen, whether someone loves Donald Trump or hates Donald Trump, I think all Americans should be, frankly, very alarmed by this latest indictment because, in my view, the entire thing it violates the First Amendment. Not only was Trump's political speech constitutionally protected as free speech, his efforts that he made to challenge the election, such as reaching out to the Secretary of State here in Georgia and even talking to Mike Pence, those were efforts by a citizen taking their grievance to a government official. And that is specifically covered under the First Amendment. Americans have the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. So all of this, I think, is covered by the First Amendment. Listen, the entire premise, Harris, of this indictment is that Trump knew in his mind subjectively that he had lost the election and that there was not any kind of election meddling or interference or frauds that would have changed the results. It's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to get inside his head and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump actually knew what he was saying was false. Now, they're going to rely, Harris, on people like Bill Barr or maybe even Mike Pence, who shortly after the election said to Trump, look, you lost and it was fair and square. But that's just their opinion. Trump is being criminally charged for failing to accept the opinions of certain of his advisors.
And then they'll rely on shady Democrat judges, and then it'll have to go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Right? This is exactly what they're going to do. Thank God for the Supreme Court, though, right? I mean, this is the thing. It's like you're on very shaky ground now in this country. That's what worries me. It's like, what happens if we don't have a Supreme Court that can uphold what's right?
Right.
Then
or if it gets completely remade and completely packed, and that could absolutely happen.
That's
if
my
Biden
point.
wins again.
Yeah, that's my point. Then we're really effed, you guys. This is the thing. When it gets to the point where the only rule of law is like right there in a thin line in the Supreme Court, and we lose the Supreme Court, which is highly possible, we're losing everything else. Then what? Then we're completely and totally effed. It's
Well,
like,
Trump seems to think that he's got this in the bag if he could just get one more indictment, you guys. Which this is like classic Trump. So not only is he's kind of trolling for another indictment, he's also giving some more clues about how he feels about going to the next debate. Here he is.
We need one more indictment to close out this election. One more indictment, and this election is closed out. Nobody has even a chance. We've already defeated the Republicans. They're at 2 and 3 and 1. You know, they all want me to go, Kay, onto the debate stage. And I say, well, if we're at 71 and they're at 0, 1, 2, 3, some of them are at 4 or 5. I don't know. Does it really make a lot of sense? Does it really? I love to debate, but you know, sometimes you don't want to be a fool. You want a smart president. You don't want a stupid president.
He's not going.
I know. I don't think he's going to go either. I think it's such a big thing. I think you should go. I think you should go and spank everybody. I really think he needs a debate.
And then he'd be able to use his new nickname for Mike Pence. So he has just assigned over the weekend, along with the all caps insurrection font tweet, he has assigned Mike Pence the nickname Little Mike Pence with 2 D's, not little.
I don't know
Little.
why. I'm not really
Little
sure.
Mike
Well,
Pence.
see, he could speak out against all these people who he thinks have betrayed him. You know, he seriously. He'd be able to spank all of these people. He would just annihilate Chris Christie.
That would be the best fight to watch. Oh my God.
He would just shut down Mike Pence. I mean, people would love to see that. It's like, I don't know, why doesn't he do that? I don't understand why he doesn't. And he would probably not do that to, you know, like a Nikki Haley or a Vivek. He probably would not be unkind to them, but he would be able to spar with them a little bit. I would just like to see how he relates. Yeah, I'd like to see who he treats well and who he doesn't. I'd like to see the dynamic between the different people. And my God, he'd be so unkind to like people like Chris Christie, and it would be fun to watch. I want to see it. I don't know why we can't see that.
But I do, you know, it does beg the question, at least in my mind, the more people that he attacks, that he is responsible for ever giving a platform to so many of these people. And it's just like, at what point do even his strongest, most loyal supporters stop and think, maybe Trump is a horrible judge of character, and that's a flaw that needs to be addressed? Like, how are we going to know what kind of people he's going to surround himself with if literally everyone that he's ever chosen for any position ever, he now hates them? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, what is that he is either picking the wrong people, or that he's trusting the wrong people, or is it that these people are right and he's wrong? Because that's just, it's literally everybody. There's not a like everybody that he talked highly about
except family
now doesn't,
except his family.
Yeah, except family.
Right. It's he's going to have to, that's the thing. If he does become president again, he's going to have to just have family surrounding him, because everybody else has stabbed him in the back.
But I mean, there's more positions than there are family
I know.
members.
I know.
You
It's
know?
like I mean, you bring up a valid point there. It's like, I don't know if it's if he just is a bad judge of character, or if people
That's what I'm trying
are
to figure out.
or if there are just so many people that have just gotten into those positions that have turned around and completely stabbed him in the back. Because there are a lot of people that he just no longer.
But is it that they're stabbing him in the back, or is it that they just genuinely think he is wrong? You know what I mean? And that maybe they're just maybe they just have integrity, and they just are saying what they think about. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't say that about an Anthony Scaramucci.
No, but I would, like Kayleigh McEnany. You're going to dunk on Kayleigh? You know what I mean? It's like,
I hear you. It's like I think there are some that probably still have integrity that, you know, that he just parted ways with. And then some were genuine scumbags. It's probably half and half, you know, but listen, there are some that actually turned on him. There are some that turned, and then some that he just couldn't, like a Fauci. I mean, you know, that guy
why did he get rid of that guy? Like, he got rid of everybody else.
It's a great question. I wish somebody would ask him that question.
They could if he went to the debate.
Be nice.
DeSantis would be asking that question because
And
that's
that's
constantly his line of attack.
I would like for that question to be asked. Why not? Why not ask him that question? I would like to know his answer, and he probably has an answer for it,
Yeah.
but no one's asked him.
Yeah, it would be
So.
good to have that answer. Anyway, Little Mike Pence, if you were wondering what that nickname was going to be, Little Mike Pence. Speaking of the whole trial being televised, interestingly enough, there is a Democrat representative, Congressperson Connolly, who is saying that it's going to be Republicans who fight against televising it, which I think is madness. Like, I can't think of a single person who wouldn't want this to be on television. Can you, like, for on either side?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't think of a single person who would not want to see it televised, but I'm sure maybe there are some people who don't want to see it, who are like, la, 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 I don't want to see it.
Well, so here's Congressman Connolly, and then you'll also hear again from Trump's attorney, John Lauro, on this particular issue.
You, Congressman, are pushing to make the election interference Trump trial be public, for it to be televised, saying it's in everyone's best interest. What will it take to make that happen, and may that be polarizing?
Well, I believe an act of Congress could make that happen. I don't know that the Republican side of the aisle will accept that, and that means it would have a difficult fate in the House of Representatives. But I think it's the right thing for the American people. This is arguably the most important trial in our lifetime. It's the former president of the United States. It involves fundamental issues about the course of our democracy and the attempt to disrupt it, to overturn it. I think the American people is entitled to witness the ups and downs and pros and cons that are arbitrated in that courtroom. And I think we're entitled to that as the American public. And I think it would be good for a lot of Americans, including the ones you were talking about, who so strictly adhere to Trump cultism, to actually hear other facts.
Would you be open to having cameras in the courtroom during this trial?
I personally want the public to see what's going on in this country right now. I want the public to see what kind of prosecution is going on.
Yes.
And I want the public to see the evidence. If you ask me what my personal opinion is, the answer is absolutely, I'd like to see that. What I'm concerned about is the government has already signaled that they don't want the press and the American people to see the evidence in this case because they filed an emergency protective order to prevent that from happening.
Interesting. Isn't that interesting? So the government
everybody wants it.
Yeah, except for the government. Everybody wants it except for our government. They don't want us to see stuff. So whenever the government doesn't want you to see something, that's a problem. So
we should want to see it.
We should, yeah, that's exactly when we want to see it. So we should all be screaming for that to happen.
Well, yes. if that Democrat congressman is like, it'll take an act of Congress, then just do it. Like,
do it.
Yeah, I think everybody is going to want this televised.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be a situation where we're all going to be wanting it. We're going to be getting a hugely watered down version of it through our media, who we all know who lies to us. They totally lie to us. That's going to be a complete and utter disaster. And then it'll be like that whole transgender manifesto thing. When are we going to see it?
Yeah.
When are we going to see it, you guys? Oh, wait,
well,
crickets,
transcripts would come out. I mean, so that it wouldn't be necessarily a media spin.
It's going to be watered down like hell. We're going to get like
I mean, you can't water down a transcript. You can only read written words. You miss all the tone. You miss all the body language. You miss all of the, the interaction.
Do you think that the American people are actually going to read transcripts? They're going to read bits and pieces of things. And then what's going to happen? People don't read, Mock. What they're going to do is they're going to get like tweets of stuff. They're going to get bits and pieces and little tiny like morsels of things. You may read stuff. I may read stuff. There may be like a couple people in here that read transcripts, but people are going to get bits and pieces and like little like Snapchatted morsels of things. People have the attention spans of fleas these days. Unless they see the whole thing being played out on their television screens,
it's going to be the same. The same people who wouldn't read a transcript are not going to sit and watch hours and hours and hours of testimony.
Oh my God.
It's going to be spun no matter what. So, if it's on us if we don't actually read what's going on. If this isn't televised and we don't read every last word or we don't watch every last hour, that's on us if we don't know what's going on.
I just think it's important to see body language. It's
It
important.
is.
It's hugely important. Transcripts are one thing, but when you see somebody on a stand, you see somebody in a courtroom, it's totally different.
I completely agree. I mean, that's why I can't even believe this is an argument from anybody. Whatever needs to happen to make this happen, just make it happen. Like this is
it has to.
No-brainer.
It has to. The fact, because I mean, I go back to the whole, if the government doesn't want us to see it, that is why we have to see it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of corruption, because I know somebody was like, the courts are corrupt. And yeah, I mean, I think, man, the whole justice system is so borked right now. Speaking of corruption, the second part of Tucker's interview with Devon Archer was released. So I've got a few clips of that to share with you. The first is Devon Archer having all the regrets about ever having met Hunter Biden.
At the body of work, it was, a very big strategic mistake for me to, be involved with him. And some of it was my fault because, quite frankly, I was pitching Burisma Roosevelt Realty, and that ended up, that the genesis, that was me. But obviously, the trajectory of my life would have been far different and arguably far better if I'd never met him.
Yeah. Like, I cursed the day I met Hunter Biden.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
So Tucker's about to... this is snarky Tucker, what you're about to hear, because he's going to suggest, there's nothing untoward about any of Biden's behavior. He definitely didn't know anything about Hunter Biden's business operations. So it sounds like anyway, you'll understand that it's snark when you hear this from Tucker next.
There's no corruption here at all. This is totally normal. Joe Biden had no role whatsoever in his son's business or knowledge of it. But
right.
That seems false.
Yeah, I think that's categorically false. I think he was aware of Hunter's business. He met with Hunter's business partners. You found a letter that illustrates that he knew me.
And he's thanking you. He's thanking you for his efforts.
So I think that was, I think
your efforts. Yeah.
I think that that's not factually right.
And then lastly is him talking about the extraordinary gifts that he and Hunter received as part of the whole deal with Burisma. We're talking $50,000 to $100,000 watches. That's
God.
That's just a
they make those.
Gift.
I didn't even know they made those, you guys.
Yeah, here he is describing one of them.
About gifts, and this is a part of the world where people give gifts,
right?
And those gifts are a kind of non-taxable payment. You could argue.
You could argue.
Were there gifts?
There were some birthday gifts. A watch. A watch.
Just Timex kind of watch, or
no? What was the watch? I believe it was a Hugh-Bolt.
A Hugh-Bolt.
I'm not actually sure. I shouldn't even say that, but I don't know. But I know there's a birthday gift. I've also been refreshed in my memory through the series of documents that have been put in front of me.
Yeah, through your testimony to the Congress.
might have been. Yeah. Exactly.
So a watch like that would cost like ballpark,
$50,000 to $100,000.
Oh my gosh!
So real gift.
A real gift, meaningful.
Meaningful. It was a meaningful present. Happy birthday!
I would immediately turn around and sell that. Who wears a $50,000 freaking watch? What kind of a prick are you? Seriously, like, I'm sorry. I am not of that world. I find that so annoying. Like, you wear it's like the chicks who have the $25,000 purses, like the $50,000. It's a piece of cow. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I just like the Birkin bag, like that Kim Kardashian. She's like, my purse is a $50,000 purse, and I wore it to Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't understand it. I mean, I guess I understand when you get to a certain level and like money just means nothing to you. I'm assuming that happens to really super rich people. It's just, it's a watch. It tells time. It's like, it's no different than another watch that tells time. What makes it special? I don't understand. It's like I always tell my daughter, when she like there's designer clothes and you remember when we were growing up, it's like I want Guess jeans,
Oh
and it's
yeah.
like
Had
remember
to
I
have
want
the
the Guess.
Guess jeans.
It's the same as the Levi's, like the Guess. It's a triangle on your ass. It's like it just costs more because of the triangle on your ass. They're the same as the Levi's. It's just all. The whole brand thing is just so funny to me. $100,000 for a watch.
But it's all relative, right? I mean, it's like, people would say the same thing about a Louis Vuitton.
I guess,
Or
but I mean, it's
some
like
of the things that we have for ourselves, people
but
would
it's
say
like,
the same thing.
was it made of unborn panda skin? I mean, like, it's just crazy. It's just, but $50,000 for a watch. Like,
I would be terrified to have that much
I would
value
sell it.
on my person at any given time.
I would sell it, and I'd immediately sell it. And
Well, maybe that was the
take
idea,
cash.
right? Maybe that was the idea.
Yeah.
Instead of us paying you because that looks shady, maybe here's $100,000 watch. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that could be why that happened. I have some other stickers to recognize. Leslie L. Thank you. Leslie says, Mock, my senior starts Wednesday. It's amazing how the days felt long and the years went so fast. Sending love from one senior mama to another. Thank you. Leah, thank you. Leah says, if Alan Dershowitz feels that way, then why would he vote against Trump and vote for the very party that's turning America into a banana republic? That's a great question. Maybe he's assuming that it wouldn't be Biden and he would be voting for someone that wasn't as awful.
Or like some people voted for Biden and they have major regrets.
Yeah.
And then now they're not going to do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like there is.
But Alan wants to vote against Trump a third time. Like he said that very clearly.
He said that out loud. Well, then I don't understand. I can't wrap my brain around people who are like that. I just can't. I don't understand it. And then I also, do you have another person?
Yes. Jay Carter. Thank you. Jay Carter says Trump's like the knight in Monty Python, which I don't know that reference. So, but thank you.
There was somebody that mentioned that dude's slick back hair and how he looked like Gavin Newsom. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Devin Archer?
Mm-hmm. How he's very slicky, like
he is
Gavin
slicky.
Newsom. He's slicky, like
like
Newsom. I will tell you, there's one of the girls that I met. There's a group that I've done some, like a conservative group of girls here at Baylor University that I've done a little bit of work with. And one of the girls wrote me the other day, and it was a little disheartening. I am not going to lie. And she said, "I wish Gavin Newsom wasn't so handsome."
People do think he's handsome.
College girls. It's the college girls. Yeah. And I was like, I think
they're the same ones that thought Justin Trudeau is handsome.
Oh God, you guys. And I said, I think he's a paid actor, and she was like, haha, laugh emoji, laugh emoji. But I mean, some of these girls think that he's very, very handsome, Gavin Newsom. Not saying that they would vote for him because they're conservative girls, but they are indicative of other college girls who probably are Democrats / liberals, and they probably think that Newsom is handsome. I'm just putting that out there.
He's so
everybody understands who we're dealing with in the election coming up when Biden is bumped out and Newsom is the stand-in. Just putting that out there for y'all. That's who we're up against.
It's time for whack.
Oh yeah. Megan Rapinoe is my whack.
I named myself after her today.
She is an insufferable beast, you guys. First of all, I could have made that kick. I could have made it. I'm 51 years old and I have osteopenia. I could have made that kick. Easy kick to make. And she totally just choked.
Then she got shit for laughing. So here, that's the first clip. You want me to just play that?
Yeah, you can play it. This is her choke. And then she said the reason that she laughed is because she says it was a sick joke.
She was laughing at the cruelty of it.
Yeah, that was her excuse. She said, I laughed because that she goes, I never have done that before. Basically, she's the worst, and she's
an awful person.
She was beat. She and a bunch of those women were beat by a U15 team in Dallas in 2017. Y'all, she sucks. She's not that great of a player. I could have pulled a whole other clip of her just choking on so many other plays. She's not that great. And a lot of people are saying she did it on purpose. Yeah, there's a whole clip, a whole montage of her where it looks like she's choking on so many other plays.
Why would she do it on purpose though?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. Maybe because she hates her country. She didn't want to win. I don't know. I have no idea. A lot of people are. There was speculation that she choked on purpose. I don't know. I have no idea. It was a horrible play. She's a horrible person. And then there's this other clip of her talking about like her most memorable thing about this experience. And you can.
Is there a memory that stands out to you right now in this moment? Oh, I mean, probably equal pay chance after the final.
Thank God.
And I think, they were saying equal pay, but could have been saying a lot of things. I think this team has always fought for so much more, and that's been the most rewarding part for me. Of course, playing in World Cups and winning championships and doing all that, but to know that we've used our really special talent to do something, that's really like changed the world forever. I think that means the most to me, and the players in this locker room here. They're just getting started, and to all the players that I've played with, obviously, who know what it's like to be in the grind. That's the best part.
What else did they fight for? What are they fighting for? Who are they fighting for? They're not fighting. They're not fighting for my daughter. They're not fighting for your daughters or your granddaughters. Who the hell are they fighting for? And how can she demand like equal pay when they can't beat 15-year-old boys? I mean, do they have zero self-awareness or what? This is the thing. Like these women are insufferable. They hate their country. They have no grace. They have no class. They are terrible representations of the United States. And I'm glad that they lost.
I kind of am too. I know you're not supposed to root against the country, but man, they make it really hard to root for them.
Oh, it was awful. They were terrible. I hated that they represented me and my country. And they were just entitled little brats is what they were. And I was glad to see them lose. And I don't care what people say. I don't care what people think about me saying that out loud. I will
say there was a hullabaloo made about them not singing to the national anthem in this game, perhaps previous games, just within the last few weeks. And I thought that was a little over the top because I know, many of them she didn't, I'm sure, but like many of them had their hands on their chests when the national anthem was playing, but they were criticized for not singing, even though there was not a singer. It was just the instrumental version. And they were criticized for not singing the words out loud. And I was like, listen, if you're standing there and you're standing, that's point number one. Secondly, you've got your hand on your chest and you're facing the flag. That's all I think that you need to do. Like they play the national anthem at my kids' lacrosse games. I don't sing out loud. I have my hand on my heart and I'm looking at that flag and sometimes I get a little choked up, but I'm not singing. Yeah. And I can't imagine being criticized for that. Like I just thought that was unfair. Even as much as I hate these girls, I thought that was like criticism that was just unwarranted. Like who cares if they're singing along as long as they're showing respect? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I always at the swim meets that we always drop everything. We, look at hand on heart. My kid always does that. I've never looked to see if she's singing or not.
Right.
I mean, if anything, she may be mouthing. I'm a terrible singer, so I don't ever usually sing. I usually just mouth along is what I do. But you don't ever want to hear me like belting stuff out because you'd be like, okay, what is that? Is that a screaming chihuahua? What is that? Yeah.
That's fake news because we all hear you when you sing
Visiting Angels, America's Choice Home Care. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, there was a big hullabaloo about it.
I did not hear that. I will say though that they are ungrateful. They're just ungrateful, spoiled brats, and they've just not represented us well. And the whole thing has just been, I just don't understand why they have to be like that. And so they've been awful role models for young girls. And I just want to get a whole new team and start over. And I don't think I'm alone in that They've just been classless and just void of grace.
Yeah,
and
they really
sport
have.
and sportsmanship, and they just don't represent us well. So to me, it's karma. This whole thing has been karma, and her missing that shot was karma. And
Mhm.
she's not that great. And now she's probably going to run for office, and everybody watch out, because I feel like that's where she's either heading for office or she's heading for MSNBC. So
Oh my God, that's right. She'll probably get a thing, like a
she's gonna
a
get a thing,
contributor
and
thing.
right, she's gonna dye her hair like purple again, and then just
God.
go work at MSNBC
Oh
right
my
alongside
God.
Jen Psaki.
Oh God.
Get ready, buckle
You're
up,
totally right.
everybody.
That's
Right
totally gonna happen.
right in time for the 2024 election. She's gonna be right there. You know
And
she
if that
is.
happens, you know what you need? You need 2 travel size My Pillows to just like put on either side of your ears
Right here.
anytime you see her speak.
Right here.
And the good news is that you can get a huge discount right now on those from mypillow.com/chicks when you use code chicks. It's all in celebration of their 20th anniversary.
The cutest pillowcases, you guys, for
so
the little
cute.
travel pillows, the cutest pillowcases. You gotta check it out.
Cute. Check them out, mypillow.com/chicks. And of course, that means it is time for My Pillow Talks. I've got a fantastic story for you to share first, right out of the gate. It's a 3-parter. So we'll start with what happened first.
I'm literally shaking right now. I heard something from the bed. It's like 6:30 in the morning. I heard something in our bathroom that we're remodeling. This is not my dog. This is my dog.
What?
This is my dog. This is not my dog.
What
Sweet
in the
baby,
world?
how did you get there? How did this happen?
What is
And
happening?
what do I do about it? I mean, he's chill. Oh my gosh, like what do I do?
What? Where are they?
He's in the floor.
Sweet dog out of my floor.
Oh my God.
So that's part 1. And of course, naturally, everyone was like, what the hell? How did that dog get into
In
your
the
floor?
floor? Oh my God.
So here is part 2.
So I wanted to give y'all a quick update. As you can see, oh, please don't jump on me. You're so sweet, but you're dirty. He's fine. His collar is what was hung in the hole. So I was able to wiggle my hand down there, and I kind of just had to like go a little at a time and move his collar down. So he was able to get his head back through the hole. And then my husband came home and opened our crawl space up. I don't know how he got down there in the first place. And my husband crawled underneath the house and called for him, and he came. So he's fine. He's chilling in our garage right now. I gave him a bed, some food, and some water to wait out the storm. And then maybe he'll go to his home. Because this isn't your home. I would love for it to be.
I think it's his home now.
You already have a collar.
I feel like
He's so sweet.
So sweet.
I feel like that's his home.
Well, then people started giving her crap saying, well, you can't just like expect it to just go home. So, what are you going to do? And so here's her update for that.
Oh my God.
So we have the best update. Her name is Lulu, and her favorite food is cheese. And she is home. Her owner just came and got her, and I can confirm it is 100% her owner. And whenever he pulled in and opened the truck door, she just like jumped on in there. But I'll show y'all a clip of when they were reunited. It has been a crazy ride, but Lulu is welcome at our house. At any time, we have tons of cheese for her. Anytime she wants to come over, she can. Just preferably not under our house.
Oh, I forgot to do the shoot. Now dang it. I meant to show you guys the reunion. Let me see if I can fast forward.
So we have, she wants to come over. Just under our house.
There.
She's
so
sweet. She's so cute.
Can you imagine like walking into your bathroom in the middle of the night
And there'd be like a
seeing
dog.
face?
I would have immediately adopted that dog. That
I know,
dog
you'd
is
have
mine
to, right?
now. That dog is mine.
Collar or not.
Mhm.
That dog is there for a
Yeah,
reason.
it's my dog.
The absolute defiance of this dog who snuck over to the neighbor's house to go swimming, and the owner goes to try to retrieve it, and this dog is not having any kind of getting out of that pool.
Oh my God. Oh. No. No. Why don't you get a pool, Dad? Why don't we have our own pool?
I don't want to come out.
No. They have a pool. Our house sucks. Oh my God.
Look at this. I love it. He's like, I'm just going to tippy tappy toe here.
That is the greatest. I would allow that dog to just come over and swim all the time. God bless him.
So precious.
This one's a pool.
This guy has my level jokes, and the dog does not appreciate dad jokes.
Okay, what do you get when you mix a dog and a calculator? A friend you can count on.
I love it.
He did not appreciate it.
He's like, I'm going to go ahead and go over here now. Great.
Speaking of things that might terrify you if they happen in the middle of the night, granted, I would love this, but also I would be terrified.
What is it?
It's a family of raccoons that came in through the dog door.
Oh my God. And I think they're more terrified than she is.
I mean, I'm sure they are, but look.
Except for that one. That one's like, hey, you guys got any Cheez-Its? You guys, that's all I need, and then I'll leave.
I love that so much. And then this raccoon just squares up against a fire hydrant because I think he thinks the fire hydrant is going to get him. And the sounds, I didn't know that these sounds, they like make some really scary sounds.
Scary, huh? That fire hydrant's going to get you.
Does anybody know if raccoons are nocturnal?
I think they are.
Well, then he shouldn't be out there.
Well, he's a pet. This is a pet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But like, he's like not messing around with that fire hydrant. Look at him. He's all squared up. He's going to get it.
It's just so weird that you're like, that raccoon is a pet. And I'm just supposed to accept that information. Like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, we're all just supposed to accept what she just said. Yeah, that's the thing.
Of course you should accept it. This is my future.
It's a pet, Daisy. Oh, okay. All right.
And then now he's got a leg up. He's like, see, I got a leg up now.
So strange. Okay.
Okay, then I forget what. Oh, this guy has a problem with autocorrect. I don't know why, but whenever you and I try to type the word "and," it comes out GIF. I have no idea why this happens on our phones. Every
time I try to write the word "for," it comes out "fur," like fir tree.
Yes,
that drives me crazy. I'm like, at no time. When have I ever written the word "fur"? I don't write the word fur.
Right?
I don't need, it's like the only time I'd ever write the word fur is maybe at Christmas if I'm buying a fir tree. That's it.
But you don't. You never buy trees.
I don't. So why? Why does it insist on writing fur?
I don't know.
It,
but there's a whole other word. I mean, there's obviously, none of us ever means to write ducking. We know this. But there's another word that this guy has a problem that he would like to complain to autocorrect about.
This is a message to whoever is in charge of autocorrect at the big tech companies. Nobody is using the word defiantly.
No.
Everybody is misspelling the word definitely. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've actually needed to use the word defiantly in a sentence in my entire career as a human being.
Exactly.
But I misspell definitely between 8 to 10 times a day.
Right.
I'm never using defiantly. And if I was the type of person that needed to use the word defiantly, chances are I know how to spell definitely correctly. So my suggestion is, when you see the letters DEF coming in hot, boom, definitely, right away.
It's true.
Okay? I don't want to see it autocorrect to defiantly. I don't want to right-click under the squiggles and the only word available is defiantly. DEF, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
If it's DEFI, it's definitely.
Right.
And if anybody else wants to use a different DEF word, that's between them and the Lord. They can handle it on the back end. Okay? So if you need me to file a ticket for this, I will. But I think this needs to be fixed immediately. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Agreed. I mean, I could not agree more with him.
I know. I completely agree as well.
Mhm.
To finish out today, this is my favorite thing. I know it's going to get us a copyright strike, but we have to play the sound.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Because it's one of those times when the music makes the video. And the caption, in case it's too small to read, says, "This dog literally failed every single test thrown at him to become a service dog, and I am screaming."
Absolutely love him.
That
That is
I
the
was
greatest.
dying. Oh my God. Because I was just imagining Ella Dog in her service training.
Right.
And she would never do those things. She was such
You don't
a
think?
good girl.
You don't think
No,
she was
so
she was
good.
too lovey? She was just too sweet.
Yeah,
She was-
the only reason she failed is because she was too affectionate when it was not affection time.
See, that's the kind of service dog to have. Is one that's too affectionate, you guys.
Yeah.
Ella
The
dog.
music though, it's just, I don't know why it made it so much funnier.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just loved it. Anyway, those are your talks for today.
Okay, prayers. We have to give more prayers.
What's
We're
going
giving
on? What's happening?
for Andres? More prayers.
Okay, yes, coming at him.
More prayers. You know what? My dog, Astrid, you guys don't see Astrid very much. Now, Astrid was a rescue that she was in 4 different homes before she came to us. So she has some emotional issues. And when she got to us, we took her to obedience school. And when she graduated obedience school, she she bit off her collar. And so that gives you some insight into what Astrid is like. Yes.
By the way, today, thank you very much for everybody's well wishes for this first day of seniorhood of my son. Tomorrow, also an emotional day because Ella is turning 14 tomorrow.
Oh my God. It's just beginning. I mean, seriously, seniorhood.
Too much going on at once, you guys.
It's like it's past midlife, but she's going into her senior years. It's good.
They called her senior starting at age 8. They started referring to her as a senior dog.
That's bull crap. I don't buy that.
If the normal dog is 10 to 12 years, then I mean, yeah, that's probably right.
It's kind of like when you have a baby.